I wanted to go over some common mistakes students make when filling out college applications. Right now, a lot of my students are working on applications for the UC, the University of California system, which is due end of November, the University of Southern California, USC, which has an early scholarship option due December 1st, and then many students working on the common application. So one thing I've noticed students have done is add the wrong test scores on their application. Sometimes they're even lower than what they actually have. Now, of course, these colleges will receive your official scores from the College Board or from ACT, but this is the first thing they see when they get your application, so I want to make sure those scores are correct. And for AP tests, many schools won't even require the AP scores until you decide to go to their school. So you really want to make sure these scores are written correctly on your application. I even had a student write a 3 when he got a 4, which is a big difference. He'd also gotten an AP Scholar Award for having a certain amount of 4s and 5s, so the 3 really didn't make sense here. So be careful when you're adding your scores. Make sure they're the right ones. On the UC application, there is a scholarship section. The UC gives you an option to check boxes that could lead to possible scholarships. Now, I promise there's going to be a lot of boxes that pertain to you. A lot of my students skip this section for some reason, just probably because it's optional. But if you're interested in the humanities or the sciences or born in California, or you have a lot of extracurricular activities, or a grandparent who fought in a war, or you have any disabilities, or you're a first generation to go to college, all of these are sections you can check the boxes off on the scholarship section. So, this is potentially a chance for you to get free money from a UC alumni, so don't skip this section. Also on the UC activity resume, it's a slightly different activity chart than some other applications have. They divide it into some sections that are a little bit different. Now, I want you to have something written in most of these sections. Now, obviously, don't make anything up, but if you have an activity that could work across a few sections like the educational prep program or volunteer work or extracurricular activity, and if you're heavy in one of these sections and you have nothing in another, then divide them up a bit. Let's say you took Spanish in Peru, or maybe you were a Spanish teacher in Peru. That could go under educational prep or volunteer work, assuming you didn't get paid for it. Now, if you took Spanish classes in Peru, that could go under educational prep, but it also could go under extracurricular activities from a trip you took. So divide them up so that you have a few across all bases. On all applications across the board, I don't want you to use any odd formatting in your essay. What happens is if you use a dash or use italics or you indent something, it doesn't transfer very well onto the application. So I'd advise you not to use dashes and italics in your essays or in your activity resume because it does come out a bit funky on the Common App. So instead of indenting to signify a new paragraph, just press return and have a space between paragraphs. And, try not to use dashes and italics. Also, on all applications, I want to make sure you have uploaded your most recent version of your essays. If you've gone through a lot of editing or you've had someone else read it and you made some marks, make sure you've uploaded the most recent version. I have a lot of students upload an old version that has doesn't have the corrected grammar or corrected vocab or punctuation we've gone over. So just make sure you've uploaded your most recent version of your essay. That's the one you really want the colleges to see. Now, this is something specific to University of Southern California, USC's application. They have a section called Quick Takes, and in it you're supposed to respond to a few different questions, probably 7 or 8 questions, with a one-worded response or a one-sentence response. Now, the first question, they ask you for 3 adjectives that describe you. So you want to be a bit creative in this section. A lot of students of mine will say fun, interesting, athletic. Now, that across the board describes a lot of high school students. So let's use this time to really figure out 3 strong traits that describe you. A good way to figure this out is you could figure out 3 on your own and write them down, and then email your best girlfriend and ask her to email you back 3. Same thing, ask a best boyfriend to email you back 3, because it's interesting, the different genders will respond with different adjectives. And then ask someone in your family who knows you well and see if they can come up with 3 different traits for you. So take the traits that look at the range that you've got and see if you can find some creative ones to describe you. And if you need to, use a thesaurus. If your adjective sounds too plain or something, don't be ashamed at using a thesaurus. The second quick take asks you about your favorite food. I also want you to be creative here. Try to be as specific as possible and really separate yourself from the other students who might write the same response. Common answers I get here that are way too generic. Someone will say, favorite food, steak. Favorite food, pasta. Favorite food, salad. Favorite food, frozen yogurt. So if that is indeed your favorite food, be a little bit more creative and be more specific. Talk about what type of steak you like, what kind of cut, from what restaurant, or from your mom's kitchen, or from, steak au poivre, or steak with blue cheese on top, or steak with French fries, what kind of steak at least. If you pick pasta, tell me, is it bow tie? Is it fusilli? Tell me if it's capellini. What kind of pasta do you like? From what favorite restaurant, or from what, maybe your grandmother's recipe, and what sauce would you have on that pasta? If you're going to pick salad, again, be creative. Talk about what you'd have in your salad, where you get it, what's your favorite place to buy one, or what restaurant serves the best, or when you make it on your own, what do you put in it? Describe it a bit. Frozen yogurt, often a common answer for girls. At least give us the flavor you like, what store you like to go to get it, or maybe with whom you go to share the yogurt. Maybe it's a 4 o'clock, it's an afternoon thing you do with your best friend, and you go and you get strawberry with, gummy bears on top or something. But be descriptive here. The fourth question on the USC Quick Takes talks about what do you find is the greatest invention. So often here I will get answers like a car, or a camera, or a computer. Be descriptive. Again, if you're going to pick car, tell me what kind of car. What year was that car made? What color do you like? Is it your friend's car? Is it a car in the James Bond movie? Describe what kind of car you think is the greatest invention of all time. If you pick a camera, be descriptive. Is it a Canon? Is it a Nikon? Is it one you wear around your neck? Is it the tiny flip camera? Is it with digital, or is it with film? What kind of camera do you like? If it's a computer, there's so many things on the computer, so try to explain not just the computer is the greatest invention of all time, or if you must, maybe say because, you can email your grandmother who lives in Russia or something, or it's a computer has given you a way to organize all your photos. You can make a new scrapbook that way. Like I said, be specific, be creative with these responses, so it separates you from another student who would probably put camera, computer, or car. The fifth quick take on the USC application asks you, what do you like to do for fun? Often I will get swim, or bike, or hike, or sing. Try to be specific here. Try not to be as generic. If you're going to pick hiking, tell me where you like to hike, at what time of day, or what season, or with whom. How big is the mountain, or is it a trail? What kind of hiking do you like? If it's biking, is it road biking? Is it mountain biking? Is it motorcycle? Is it biking with your friends? Or is it, biking at night? What kind of biking do you like? If it's swimming, is it lap swimming? Is it with your friend? Is it in a lake? Is it in the ocean? Is it body surfing? Be more specific with swimming. So I hope I've helped you remember mistakes that students often make so that you don't make them, but also with everything when it comes to applications, be as specific and creative as possible, because remember, a lot of these schools have 40,000 applicants, applying to the same school for probably the same reason. So try to be specific and different than another applicant. And I wish you luck.